Welcome back, guys. This is the last part of my yearly pickups video. Today it's mostly going to be Microsoft, Atari, and vintage computers. Let's get started. First thing I've got is a computer I already had, but this one has a specific thing done to it that makes it much more valuable for me, especially if I ever want to do videos and streams. It is AV modded. Mine was not. This is a Magnavox Odyssey 2 with all the hookups. It also came with a reproduction cart. I'm not sure why it's reproduction. I guess the game's 30-40 bucks. Went ahead and just added it. That is Turtles. Another neat little thing I got. Little story on this. I saw this and was pretty excited when it came in. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna grab this for myself. I've always wanted one. That is a NVIDIA Shield. This is the 2015 model, the Pro model, that has a 500 gig hard drive in it. Most streaming devices have like 4, 8, 16 gigs. This has 500 gigs. So I thought it was really cool. It was super out of date. I think it was on OS 5. I updated all the way to 8. I think 9 is the current. As soon as I tried to put 9 on it, it went into an endless loop. It took me a good month to figure out how to get it. I factory reset it, put 9 back on it, and ever since then it's been working really well. On Sundays, my wife does not like football, so I'll go in our bedroom and use this to watch the football game. Big Tampa Bay Bucks fan. It also came with a controller. It actually came with 2 of these. So I had one Intellivision game. I think I've got the digital of a newer version of this, but this was a complete in box copy from Electronite. Thought it was kind of cool. Definitely wanted to add it since the original version of this on the Intellivision is garbage. That is DK Arcade. If you can look at the graphics on the back of it, you can see it looks pretty good compared to the really crappy version that they made for the Intellivision. Now I've got some Atari 2600 games. Didn't have any of these in my collection. Some of them are label variants. This is the Sears Telegames version of Warlords. Can't believe I didn't have this one. This is Dark Cavern. This is Lost Luggage. And another one I cannot believe I didn't have, Real Sports Baseball. So this puts me up to about 340 in Atari 2600 games in my personal collection. It's getting harder and harder to find 2600 games that I don't already have. Alright, next we're going to do some Microsoft stuff. I got a few original Xbox games. This was a great series in the arcade. This is Arctic Thunder. It is also complete. And one I have been looking for quite a while. It finally came in, and to the chagrin of my wife, I added it to my collection. That is Stubbs the Zombie. And it is also complete. We have got a couple of Xbox 360 games, ones I did not have. Wanted to add these to my collection. The first is Star Wars Force Unleashed. Again, it is complete. And of course the sequel. It is also complete. Looks like I've got one PC game. This came in loose. And I saw it and I looked it up. I thought it was kind of neat. Went ahead and added it to my collection. This is Astronomica for the PC. Next, what I've got left is going to be all vintage computer games. Let's see here. I grab a couple Atari 8-bit games. First we have this, I believe, is the Warriors of Roz series. This is, I believe, the third one, which is Wild, a role-playing game. It's very primitive, kind of RPG, but you know, RPG, vintage computer, I am going to add it to my collection. And I'll tell you how I got all these vintage computer games. We had somebody come in who cleans out houses. A family hired this gentleman to clean out a house. He was a hoarder, a gentleman who loved computers, vintage computers, and even PC stuff. He brought about 350 PC games into us, from Atari 8-bit, Atari ST, and PC. We paid a good pretty penny for these, and a lot of these, the way we got rid of them, I just put them on eBay and auctioned them off, and we did pretty good on them, but I added quite a few to my collection. Some I didn't have, some I already had, and I don't mind on some of these to go ahead and get dupes of. You'll see why. So the next one is an Atari 8-bit game that I have been trying to add to my personal collection for over 20 years. This was my #1 game that I've always wanted to add. I've tried to get it multiple times on eBay, always outbid. That is Ultima 1. So happy to add this to my collection, because that adds, and I now have a version of every Ultima game, basically, of the original series. Now we have got some Atari ST games that I added. Actually, no, this is an Atari 8-bit game. Another game I played when I was a teenager. Absolutely loved it. I played it on the Atari 8-bit and Commodore 64. That is Temple of Apshai Trilogy. It is a complete in-box copy. I don't know if you can see the graphics. This was like, that is kind of what the Atari ST and Amiga versions look like. Very, very nice looking. Much better than the PC version. Okay, now it looks like we've got some Atari ST games. These were some graphic adventure games for the ST back in the day. I've always wanted to own a physical copy on them, and I finally got them. The first is The Pawn. That's what the game kind of looks like. And the next is from the same company. That is Guild of Thieves. And this is one I don't know much about, but I know it looks like it is definitely a vintage RPG for the Atari ST. One of the early ones, it looks like. Looks like it came out in '84. That is Sword of Kadash. This is only a box and manual, but another game I've always wanted. I figure at some point I'll go on eBay and buy the disc for 25 to 30 bucks. Add it to this, which makes it about a $150 game. That is Sundog Frozen Legacy. So it's pretty nice to get this. This is one of the games you don't see very often. Like I said, all I got to do, it's got the manual and all the other stuff in it with the box. Just got to get the floppy disk for it. And here are some games that I already had in my collection, but anytime I get to add SSI games to my personal collection, I don't care if I already have them, I'm going to go ahead and grab them. So this is a trilogy that is for the Atari ST. I think I've got the first and second one and didn't have the third one in this one. That is the Fantasy series. So we've got Fantasy 1. We have got Fantasy 2. And Fantasy 3, Wrath of Nicodemus. These were some of my favorite RPGs back in the day. The first two came out for the Atari 8-bit, and that's how I played them. I also played them on the Commodore 64 as well. Next, I believe I had a copy of this without the disc, so I went ahead and grabbed this one to complete it. That is Road War 2000, a very, very cool strategy game, kind of post-apocalyptic. And the final game did not have a copy or a version of this for the Atari ST. Probably the best looking version of this game. It is my favorite game of all time. So if you watch my previous videos, you know what that is. That is Wizard's Crown. Someday I plan on streaming this so people can see what it looks like. It's an early game. It's not going to excite you for the graphics, but I just have such a connection to this game. I absolutely love this game. Any version of this I can get, I'm gonna add it to my collection. So guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully in another couple months I'll be back and be able to start doing pickups videos on a regular basis. Again, guys, thanks for watching.